welcome to Saturday Morning Movie Club. We are back again. We missed last week, unfortunately, because we were too busy making movie stuff. So we were unable to record. But today we have a very special guest that we will bring on soon. This is our first time doing a Zoom-in call, which we never wanted to do. We always want
them here, but it's logistics cannot help us in that.
We really wanted this guest for this particular theme for this week, which we will get to. It's like a cliffhanger for when.
Even though it'll be in the notes.
It's in the notes. You're gonna know already, but we'll tell you in like 10 minutes when we bring him on. First of all, though, we wanted to talk about the last recorded episode with Mike Wendt.
Yes.
We talked about the Cleveland International Film Festival. So this year, it's over.
Yeah, the live part is they're doing
the streaming still.
The streaming's still on.
Yeah. So, but we ended up being able to go multiple times and see different movies. Which one of them we saw was Buddy.
We saw Buddy.
Yeah.
We saw Adam Wild's movie
Slow Burn Shoot, which was excellent.
And then we saw Our Short.
With a
bunch of other shorts.
They were the Local Heroes block. So we, I like the Cleveland Film Festival. Please note, can the shorts program be just slightly shorter? Like the 2 hour, it's 2 hour block. It's just.
That was a lot.
Slightly too long. Every year we'd go, and every year I'm always like, we get to like this last one or the second to last one, and you're like, oh no, there's more.
It's always some 22-minute long affair, and you're like, oh.
Just like switch it up. Maybe if you have the 22-minute one, put it earlier, or I don't know. Like my brain is like, I'm tired. I don't want to watch anymore, and then I check out, and that's not great.
That does nothing for everybody.
Yeah. It's just slightly too long.
Yeah.
Like the short ass movie thing. Like make it an hour and a half. And I know
movie.
like it's less filmmakers. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna end up getting us cut. Then we're like, okay, we made it shorter. Your movie doesn't get to be in it.
Oh, that's not how I thought that was gonna roll.
Talk about your ultimate backfire. All right, never mind. You can leave it as long as you want. So Slow Burn Shoot was...
it's Adam Wild's documentary about minor league, I suppose is an uncouth way to describe it, professional wrestling.
The Cleveland...
scene.
AIW.
Yeah, part of, it's kind of a feeder league, so if you do well there, just like the minor leagues in baseball, you can go up to the show.
An audition for WWE or the other big ones. I'm not a big... my nephews are big wrestling fans, so...
It was a wild experience, so to speak, because half the audience were a lot of filmmakers and people in the film industry here that know Adam Wild, and then the other half were professional wrestlers that were in the audience, and all their fans and family was with them. So... Mike Wendt introduced that thing, and it was said Mike Wendt cried during this. I'm like, what could be? I started tearing up in that movie, and I don't tear up in movies ever.
I do all the time because I'm a sucker. I will cry.
But and you may ask, like, well, how can I catch it? One thing that they are doing with that movie is they're taking it on tour, which is happening more and more often with...
It's becoming a bigger thing with
films, just
filmmakers making, and which I love because now it's like a theater experience again. So now you get to be like, I get to go to the movies and see the filmmakers talk about the movie. Yeah. And like, that's cool.
Yeah,
and
it's way cooler than...
And I know film festivals do that all the time, but this is like its own thing. It's like...
Correct.
We're going to make a night of it. It's like going to a concert. Or,
and you are in with not a bunch of randos, but you are, particularly on this tour, within the genre, which is great.
It's got a giant fan base.
It has a huge fan base for professional wrestling. Go see a horror film that's going to be on tour like that, because you're going to be with the fan base, or if it's Star Trek or whatever it might be. When you're within the genre, people will come. People
will come. I just... See, now I can't remember... You remember what I was going to say, because I can't remember it now.
Was it about Alien?
I hate you so much.
That's fair.
I need to make a digital counter for Alien on this show. Ding. I really... the theater experience. Yeah. So seeing that Slow Burn Shoot in the theater with wrestling fans there is a part where, like, the show, you know, the movie, as a movie should, it, or at least a documentary, like, sets you up for what you're about to watch.
Yeah.
So, like, they go through that, the title comes up, and then they, like, start, like, and this has nothing to do with me. It was just a weird experience, particularly personally, is that, like, because it was like a movie, I don't know if it was just the title or a movie by Adam Wilde, and I was like, yay! And I did one of those, like, and it led into, like, they have a specific clap that they do at this particular wrestling events that they do, and the entire audience started doing it because they're all fans.
Very 4D.
And you were like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
It was a really good movie-going experience to see it with wrestling fans, because they were, like, very reactive to it. I mean, like, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to like it. I certainly am. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I know it. But
I've worked on it before.
yeah, I just, you know, like, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Yeah. And afterwards, when we went to have drinks afterwards, I was like, there is so much that I identified with the wrestlers being a filmmaker.
Yeah,
I was like, this translates
working in the industry
to us.
Yeah,
because they're like, the highs are high and the lows are low.
And that's part of quality filmmaking, when you can make it personable and relatable. That you know, a freaking truck driver could look at it going, "That's just like me," and not making it too inside baseball, but you keep it personal, and it'll have that many more fans too.
I highly enjoyed that one. And the other thing we did was we went to see Midnight Rental.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully.
So there's we've talked about Midnight Rental before on the show. But basically it's at the Grog Shop every month. If you're in Cleveland, you should go. It's super fun, and it's like watching a movie with your friends. But it's always a really bad movie.
Oh, it's the worst of the worst movie, but then it turns into a Mystery Science Theater thing.
Yeah. So it's super fun. This month's was something, I don't even have the full title because it was like American Steel Cyborg something.
So bad.
We were like, wait, where is this supposed to take place? And then
it's supposed to be America?
I was like, America's in the title, and we're like, oh yeah, okay.
But I think they shot it in Tel Aviv.
It was a fun experience. So shout out to that. Go see Midnight Rental.
Yep, go have 5 beers and go see that.
I think they're like May. Now I can't even look it up.
Look it up.
Google it.
So.
It's on Instagram. So that was our weeks of watching movies. We also did watch Hot Fuzz again. Yeah. Which
you have to.
You have to. I forget how good that movie is. That movie is like so well
Chef's
written.
kiss.
Yeah, like everything, like that's the thing with like that and Shaun of the Dead. Everything ties back into each other. Like
Very
they set up a joke,
scripts.
and it comes back at the end.
Very solid.
It's never left on the table.
Yeah.
But now that's all we're quoting now. It's Hot Fuzz, and I like got on and like listened to all the Hot Fuzz soundtrack. So now that just because I'll be driving and I'm like, now I just want to floor it because the song came on.
Hit it.
Light it up. And then you watched Temple of Doom. We watched all of Temple of Doom. Which, Nom Shabai.
Nom Shabai.
It's got fun parts to it, but
it's
overall,
got some parts. No.
I don't like Lily Scott's character. I know we've spoken about this before, but holy shit.
Yeah. I'm glad you hit the bank roll with marrying Spielberg. Anyway. The actress does a fine job. I just hate that character. Yeah. I hate when women are screamers. I can't take that on film. I can't. Especially as a character, like far down the road. I mean, I don't mind every once in a while. Like there's like, okay, like I got scared. But like when it's like that's the bit. Like it's this not a 1930s movie. I mean, it was not. Unless it's Fay Wray and King Kong. I was just thinking of that. Fay Wray's got an awesome scream. Yeah, and like I'll take that any day. But anyways, so onward to our guest. Welcome our guest, Chris Henry with the EAA. He is the museum director. Yay! Welcome. This is our first time doing this, patching somebody in. We usually have a live guest. So
Awesome. This is fantastic. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we couldn't think of somebody better suited for our theme of the day, which is space. Space movies.
That's awesome. Love it.
We are very inspired by the Artemis moon mission, so we were like, let's just do a whole show about space. And next to Adam, I think Chris Henry knows just as much about space.
I'm sure, depending on the subject, it's a toss-up.
That's true. I would love to do a trivia with you
You
guys.
should just put us on an Artemis mission, Adam. I think that's next step. We're Artemis 4. We'll take 4. We're not picky.
Floating there, Houston. You know what this reminds me of? Oh, what? Go ahead and tell me about Apollo 7 again.
Launched.
God, yeah, we can't. That you broke up there.
No, here's what it would be: is it's gonna be something like Space Cowboys, where like you guys have to unmothball the Apollo mission.
Yeah. I need somebody that can fly with steam gauges.
Yeah.
Just said is going to remind me of oh my god, because we're friends, we have so much background. I could also just immediately just springboard onto a bunch of different subjects with that, but I'll wait until you tell me.
You can just go if you want.
Let fly.
I have no idea how structured you guys are.
Not at all.
Have you seen the show?
Yeah, you haven't watched the show.
So I actually, just when you were mentioning that, like dusting off Spacecraft, what I envisioned was For All Mankind, when I'm trying to remember her name. I know the actress's name, but she finally gets to fly mission, and everybody else is flying the newer stuff, and she has to dust off like an Apollo mission capsule to go fly. But that whole scene is so just like romantic, of her getting to see her spacecraft for the first time, and it's in like a museum, but she doesn't care. Like, she's so excited to go fly it.
Yeah, that show is like that was a fun one to watch until we haven't watched this current season, but the last season turned us off, so we have not been watching it.
The last season when they're on Mars, where it's basically a bunch of guys arguing about union rules.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the earlier episodes a lot better, I'll be honest.
Yeah, same.
There was something cool about, especially that first season where I would argue that could have very easily happened.
It was very lined up with, 1 inch one way or the other on 5 or 6 different aspects.
Yeah.
Like, we're watching it and like we clearly know this isn't real, but when they bent the lander of the Eagle on Apollo 11 and they're all on a side, like we're watching and we're very tense. Like, this is not real. Why are we tense?
Exactly. I mean, it has coined a lot of phrases here when we're trying to figure something out, and we're just gonna have to go. We'll just say like, well, sometimes you gotta roll the hard sticks, guys. Let's just go, and we'll use our Ed Baldwin quote, which of course is a quote from another movie, but but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love that. The characters, what I would say are the 4 women that you're following closely. Obviously not real characters. However, they're sort of not real characters. They're also sort of
based on real people. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They dip in heavy enough on a couple of them to
where you're like, oh, I know who that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly, like, oh, that's who this is, and
we're nerds.
That's it. We're like, oh gosh, that's so cool. Like,
I'm like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. That first season was probably the best one.
So funny because yeah, so that is one of my, when you said Space Cowboys and then you talked about dusting off a spacecraft, that was the image that popped into my head was dusting off a spacecraft.
Yeah, I don't know why, but Space Cowboys popped into my head like a week ago. We were driving and I was like, hey, remember that movie?
Yeah. Some of it doesn't play as hard as it does anymore, and some of it, because I of course saw that in the theater and watched it like, dang, that was one of the best sequence when the Russian missile platform accordions into the space shuttle. That was a really great sequence that a lot of other filmmakers would have hacked that up pretty poorly, and I thought that was a very good portrayal of what probably would have happened, but silently.
Well, so Space Cowboys, when people ask me, I had the honor of working with 9 of the Apollo astronauts a few years ago, and so whenever people ask me like, what was that like, I tell them, go watch the movie Space Cowboys, and that is exactly what it is like. This will not be a surprise. She has heard this, but I really, truly feel that the character, especially just this one scene where Tommy Lee Jones finds out that he has cancer, and he's out underneath the Blackbird talking to the woman whose management. That is Joe and Jeannie Engel. I wish I could get that out of my head. Jeannie, if she hears this, knows, because I've told her several times.
Yeah.
That just so reminds me of Joe and Jeannie. And she even looks like Jeannie. If you look at pictures of Jeannie in her NASA days, that woman looks like Jeannie Engel. So
they were doing something when they were casting, probably.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So tell us about. I did have that written down on my show notes about you getting to spend time with the actual Apollo astronauts. Yeah. Was that pretty? What was that like?
So at first it was one at a time. And that was what I would call manageable and kind of what you'd expected, where you're like, okay, I've always wanted to meet an astronaut, and maybe I'll just kind of sequentially tell you how it happened. But one of the really cool things about working at EAA is there's really an open door policy where if you come up with an idea and you pitch it to the powers that be that say, hey, there's this thing and I think we should do it, it's not taken from you, where they're not like, hey, that's a cool idea, we're going to grab that and good idea. Instead, it's okay, that is a good idea, now go do it. And so I sent an email out, I'll never forget, to Jack Pelton, our CEO here. And I said, Jack, it'd be really cool to get the Apollo 13 crew together one more time. And this was in 2016. So I'd only been here for like 2.5 years, something like that. I don't even know if he knew who I was. I mean, I was just a pretty new guy working in membership services, and Jack's like, yeah, that's a good idea, go do it. And I'm looking at the email because I'm like, is there someone else CC'd on this email? And it wasn't. He was just like, yeah, I trust you, go for it, and if it works out, great. So I called and left voicemails at Jim Lovell, Fred Hayes, and Gene Kranz's house. They're EA members, so we reached out. And I'm just like, cool. I don't know if I'm ever going to hear back from them, but we'll find out. And I'll never forget, my buddy Andy takes a call, and he just goes, hey, there's a guy on the line that says he's Gene Kranz, and I'm going to transfer him over to you. And I answer the phone, and and I'm like, hello. And right on the other end, it's like, hello, Chris, this is Gene Kranz. And you're just like, holy cow, like this is this voice of mission control, And he's talking to me on a portable phone, and the portable phone starts to beep that it's dying. Oh. And he just goes, standby one. And I'm like, okay. And he gets another phone and turns it on, and he goes, okay, we're go on this other phone. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like on a mission with Gene. Like, this is fantastic. All we did was switch portable phones,
How do you talk to your wife during Thanksgiving?
Yeah, exactly.
You thought film lingo was bad.
I thought film people were bad. Apollo pilots are probably, my God.
So I got to spend time with Jim and Fredo and Gene, which was amazing. I was driving Jim and Fred Hayes home, and I remember I was talking to Jim, and he held his thumb over the moon. As we were driving home, like in the movie, and I'm like, you actually do that? And he's like, who do you think showed Tom Hanks that? And I'm like, that's super cool. So I get them back to their hotel, and this is like one of my favorite stories. I desperately wanted a photo with them, but I knew how horribly unprofessional it would be to be like, hey, can I get a photo with you guys? So I'm like, you know what? I just have to remember this. This was a cool experience I had. And they get out of the golf cart, and they're like, and this was it. This was the last time I was going to see them. They were departing the next day. And they said, boy, it turned into a beautiful night. And I'm like, yeah, it did, and we're kind of, chatting. And I'm like, well, it was a real honor to get to work with you guys on this. And Fred Hayes goes, don't you want a picture or something? And I'm like, yes, desperately. Like,
please.
Thank you for bringing it up.
And that was a huge thing. I mean, that was absolutely amazing. The crowd loved it. It's a moment in my career I'll never forget, it
was really cool. Yeah.
And both from a standpoint of I got to do that, meaning that I got to meet these astronauts, but also that I had the trust of EAA that they trusted me with this project, which means a lot, in your career. So so I told you that story to tell you this story, that following AirVenture in October that year, we have Space Day where we get somebody to come up and speak about, space flight. And I said, I had asked Gene if he would come up, and he's like, oh, I just agreed to do something here in Houston. But he said, you know what? I have a guy that would be perfect for you. And I'm like, okay, well, if Gene Kranz says it's a cool guy for us, it's got to be a cool guy, right? And I get a phone call from a phone that's horribly garbled. The wind was blowing, and it's like, that thing in October, I'll come speak at it. And I'm like, I have no idea who this is, you know. And I said, I'm sorry, like your name cut out, like I couldn't hear who you were. And he goes, okay, hold on. And he closes the door, and he goes, can you hear me now? And I said, yeah. And he goes, that thing in October, Gene said you needed a speaker. I'll come do it. And I said, cool, but I still don't know who you are because I couldn't hear your name. And he just goes, oh, okay. I'm Frank Borman. And I'm just like quiet because I'm like, holy cow. And he just goes, you know, like Apollo 8. I was like, oh God, no, I know who you are. Like,
yeah, Frank. I know.
Literally.
There's this giant of space flight, you know.
That's amazing. I love that story.
Yeah. So we're chatting one evening. I was sitting outside and him and I were talking because we were planning his trip. And I said, Frank, you know, I'll get your airline ticket. And he says, no, I'm going to fly my own T-34 in. And I said, okay.
Which is way more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, I said, do you need any sort of like briefing or anything like that about coming in? And gosh. And he goes, are you outside? And I said, yeah. And he goes, look up. And I did. And there's the moon. And he goes, you see the moon? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I found that in 1968. I think I can find Whitman Field. I was like, okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it was just a comedy of craziness because once he landed,
Oh my
God. I hope it's okay to just tell you the whole story here because it's hilarious. But so my wife had just moved here, and in her mindset, it's, well, we are hosting Frank Borman, so I need to get doors and make sure he's comfortable. And there is a lady present, and I have to get doors and make sure she's comfortable. And they began fighting over who was going to get doors for one another, and to a point where the vehicle I had at the time had a bench seat, and Karen is sitting in the front. We stop. Frank has the back door cracked open already because he wants to leap out to get the door open for Karen. And he does this, except Karen, instead of getting out, slides across the front seat and goes out the driver's side door because she won't let him hold the door for her. And he puts his hands in the air and he goes, I can't work under these conditions. So, and we started a friendship. And it was something that I never expected. I know you guys spent time with Frank.
Yeah.
He's, for being the serious mission-driven commander, he was also very funny and warm, and he cared very deeply about aviation. And it was a friendship I never saw coming. You know, and again, credit to EA that you know, I kind of went to my supervisor and I'm like, I don't know what to do, but like, I think I'm friends with Frank Borman. Is this okay?
Did I cross the line?
Yeah, like, am I going to get in trouble? Like, am I? And they're just like, yeah. And they're like, your friends are your friends, man. Like, you just go with it. And that eventually led to Frank donating his entire collection here to the museum. So
yeah, it's a great collection. For all of the listeners, if you ever find yourself in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, go to the EAA Museum. It is fantastic.
For Frank and Susan, that you have a nice
it's so
layout
good.
for that.
Yeah.
We're really excited. We just repainted our P80.
Oh, nice.
In the markings of Frank and Charles McGee's P80. They shared a P80 at one point. So.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And it's you mentioned Jeannie. It's partnered in the same gallery with Joe Engel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when the Engel exhibit was coming in, I told Frank, I said, Frank, you're getting a neighbor. And right away, he's like, who is it? And I said, well, it's Joe Henry. And he says, okay, if it's Joe Engel, he was a hell of a pilot. Absolutely. And he says, I'll allow it. We're like, okay. So they're neighbors in our space neighborhood in the museum. So.
Now I want to run down the list of who wouldn't be okay.
Yeah. Like you're like, no, not them.
No.
He had a list of folks that he wouldn't have liked.
You're cool. Yeah. Fuck you. You're cool.
Frank doesn't mince words.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I told you that story to tell you the last story, which is when we were looking at AirVenture 2017, it was how many of the Apollo guys could we get together? Mm-hmm. And, you know, the Apollo 13 guys were obviously active with EAA, and they said, absolutely. And Frank just said, I'll call the guys that I'm close with, and I'll tee them up, and then I'll have them call you, and you can make plans. And I said, okay. Now, when Frank was here for Space Day, he was accidentally served some not good apple crisp from a local restaurant. And he would tee up these astronauts by saying, boy, wait till you try this apple crisp that they have there. It's homemade. It's fantastic. So I'll never forget the first person that called was Jim McDivitt. And Jim McDivitt was like, yeah, I'll come. And he goes, Frank's talking about this apple crisp that I just have to try. And he said, okay. And the second person that called was Jim Lovell. And he's like, I've been coming to AirVenture for years. I've never heard of this apple crisp, but Frank has talked it up. And
you got to call that restaurant.
Yeah. And after a while, I'm like, Frank, what's with the apple crisp? And he goes, they'll never see it coming. So.
No, to not trust each other on non-mission stuff
that is
at this
true.
point.
Yeah. Exactly.
So speaking of, for Movie Club, we should talk about Apollo 13. We kind of talked about this before we set it up, because when I contacted you to do this, Chris was like, so we're just going to talk about Apollo 13 then? I'm like, well, other space movies too. But Apollo 13, which we do have on DVD, I have not watched this for a very long time. I can't tell you the last time in full, because if it's on TV, it's on.
It's cut up and not great.
And we watched bits of it. But I sat down, and I also did not watch it fully because I did it in half-hour increments because we were busy.
And we kept falling
And then
asleep.
I would fall asleep. So,
Cheated.
and it's not that it wasn't good, because it was the best part of the movie when they're in the capsule and everything's going wrong, and you're just like, this is so compelling. And I'm like, I was like, don't fall asleep. I do that a lot. But I mean, I have notes now, but I think I should have watched it all together.
That's probably true. I mean,
Yeah.
You watch Apollo 13, and before sort of talking about it critically, and I won't out anybody, but one of the actual Apollo astronauts, I won't say which one, said, you just want to watch a good space movie, you just watch Apollo 13. And that's the end of the conversation.
It is good. Like, they do such a good job in this movie of making it so compelling, and it's just guys at Capcom, and in the, like, there's not a lot of, like,
it's a bunch of guys
action,
on the radio for 2.5 hours.
and you're just, like, it's riveting.
For a large portion of it, they're using the actual they're using the actual script from what actually happened.
Which is incredible, because I think there was a part where, like, something was on, and I'm like, did that actually happen? And Adam's like, well, they traumatized it. I'm like, I know that, but, like, did this actually occur?
I mean, in large part, a lot of it. I mean, Tom Hanks, he's got a crowd in front of you. In front of him, he will go, Ron Howard's a liar, and say about, like, the second course trajectory burn that they had to do, that they make unbelievably exciting.
That's the part
during
where
that.
I'm like, this is over the top.
But at the same time, like, you can see Tom Hanks hit the radio, and you hear what they did exactly say during that, like where they're screaming before that, and then they go, shut down Houston. But in between that, there's, aside from the guys, which were down to Fred Hayes that could say it was correct or not correct, where it's kicking all over like a mule and flying around in space and all that. But
that was my question, because it's like, would that space, like,
Jim Lovell has said, there has to be a little bit of license, because, and it's the same thing with airplane movies, where in a combat movie, it's virtually impossible to impress upon the audience the stress of wondering where the Germans are diving down from. Which, if you did it accurately, is just a guy in a cockpit looking side to side. Which, and ultimately, and the producers of From the Earth to the Moon and Band of Brothers have talked about this, that your truth can't be subverted by facts. That if you're trying to make it convey to the audience that this is a tense maneuver that's really hypercritical, then you get some wiggle room to be able to convey why this is an imperative thing, and why it is absolutely impossible, up until that point in a mission of impossibilities, that you can fire that LEM engine manually and steer it in space. So, yeah, it's the most accurate, in my opinion, the most accurate film about space travel. That, of course, it's not specifically accurate, but they did what they can.
What's your favorite? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, so that's, I mean, in Frank's own words, that was the most accurate space movie made, was Apollo 13. And quickly, followed up behind the miniseries From the Earth to the Moon. He was very, very fond of that. He said they did a terrific job with it. And, speaking of, you have to be able to tell the story, it's interesting because when you watch Top Gun, I love Top Gun. And then you start to realize, like, wait, the F-14 was designed to kill an enemy before you could even see it with the Phoenix missile.
You're never like this.
They're World War II dogfighting with an F-14. And you're just kind of like, oh, wait. And they said they actually did try to film it accurately first. They actually had a day where they were flying the fighters as far as apart. And they said, all you saw was open sky. And they said they could make a movie that way. It's funny when you would talk to the guys. It's funny the stuff that turned out to be true and the stuff that turned out to be like, well, that was dramatized. For example, or like little hidden Easter eggs. Like there's a scene where there's a hot dog floating around the LEM. And if you go and read the transcripts, Jim Lovell is actually eating a hot dog up there at one point.
Oh my God.
He asked Mission Control for forgiveness because he had only ketchup, no mustard and relish. And Mission Control is like, under the circumstances, we'll allow it.
How'd you get a hot dog in space?
Why is there not mustard?
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, the tents building the filter.
Yeah.
It was funny because I asked Fred Hayes, like, hey, building that filter had to be wild. He goes, yeah, I don't know. I slept through it, and you're just like, what? And he's like, oh, yeah, I wasn't awake. Like, I slept. I woke up and they were like, there was this like crisis that happened while you were sleeping. And he's like, oh. And they're like, yeah, we figured it out. And he's like, oh, great.
What's that? What's that thing taped to the wall?
That is one of my, that's one of my favorite scenes, though, is when they're just like dump all that stuff on the table and they're like, we got to make this fit into this. This.
And the whole thing of, one of the most famous taglines in the movie is failure is not an option. And Gene, exactly. and Gene never said it. And you're just like, oh, but it was the spirit of what Mission Control felt.
Yeah.
And somebody was interviewing Gene, and Gene, while they were making the movie, and Gene said that it was the spirit of failure was not an option. And the guys were like, oh my God, we gotta put that tagline in there. So I did get to talk to Milt Windler and Bill Reeves. They were two mission controllers during Apollo 13, who were actually technical advisors for Ed Harris. Ed Harris wanted, he was on set doing another movie, but he wanted to start training up for Apollo 13. So he hired these two gentlemen to come live on set at the other movie. And then in his downtime, he was spending time with them studying Gene Kranz and how do you be Gene Kranz. Down to, in the movie, if you watch it, Gene is clicking his pen a lot.
Yeah.
And the first day of filming, the real Gene Kranz is watching this, and he was like, what's with the pen? And Bill Reeves is like, you clicked that damn pen the entire mission, and like, so they put stuff like that. I mean, so some of his mannerisms are right down in there.
That's awesome.
The vest almost not being done, it gets kind of rushed to Mission Control. That was real. Marta was finishing it up when the launch happened. So it got rushed to Mission Control last minute with a neighbor. I mean, so there's a lot of real that happened. I mean, they did a really great job with it.
Yeah.
As one of my volunteers who was in Air America likes to tell me, when you make a movie and you're hiring, Tom Hanks or Mel Gibson or whoever to be in the movie, you got to remember that you're not making a documentary. That's not what this is. This is a movie.
Your responsibility is for the audience.
Exactly. And I'll give you a great example. The movie Apollo 13 did I feel so much for people to be interested in the space program at its time period. It's just like I went and saw the newer movie of Midway.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I'm like, I'm sitting there as a nerd and I'm like, that's the wrong variant SBD or B25 or, whatever. But at the end of it, I'll never forget the lights come up and there's a couple of like junior high school kids sitting in front of me. and they're talking, and one of them opens up his phone and he's Googling who is Dick Best and if he was still alive. And and I'm like, you know what? The movie did its job.
Yeah.
The movie led this guy to like, hey, I want to know more about that guy,
Yeah.
And
we pitch that all the time when we're trying to do movies about people from history, is that it's like, it doesn't have to be exact. It is just to inspire people.
You are to get the truth to them.
But yeah, I mean, I was that kid that this is, hey, surprise. I love history, and I think it's a lot because I just watched movies. Like the Tuskegee Airmen, the Lawrence Fishburne one, came out when I was like 12, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, on HBO.
I mean, in high school, Titanic. Like, there's so many movies that I just got really interested in the history by whatever the movie was about. And I think that's like the value of movies.
Yeah.
I think the Tuskegee Airmen, the HBO one that you mentioned, Lawrence Fishburne, it was a great movie considering, they had like 3 real planes or 4 real planes.
Yeah, I mean, they're really hamstrung by their budget. But I thought that as far as the story and character structure of it beats to death a lot of different fighter pilot movies. I thought they did a really, really great job.
Yeah. And it was one of the first times you saw, that was one of the first times that the Tuskegee Airmen got that amount of attention.
Yeah.
So, it brought it to a wider range of people. I mean, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about Easy Company had they not done Band of Brothers. I mean, sure, it would be there somewhere in a history book, right? But not to this mass, not to the mass appeal. Private Ryan and Easy Company or Band of Brothers, same thing. It was not just that; it was all World War II veterans. A girl I was dating at the time, when we saw that, was like, she had never even thought about World War II veterans, and then actually got pretty passionate, about it, which I thought was cool, and that was because of Band of Brothers.
Yeah. You appeal to the human element in people, and that's like, if you sit there and be like, and this date, this happened.
No, dates suck.
All about the story and the human element.
Yeah, you can. I eliminate dates almost from everything we ever do. Because it doesn't relay the truth, and it doesn't give you the backstory and the importance of whatever transpired by knowing, that this happened in 43 or 68 or whatever it is. It's irrelevant. It's low-hanging fruit that people assign importance to if you know the date or not. It's like, that's not the important part. Now let's talk about why and the ramifications of whatever transpired.
I have one I have to mention because we just saw it. It's a newer one. We went and saw Project Hail Mary.
Yeah. You're leading right down her list.
Oh, okay. I'll let you go first.
No, it was a good segue.
Yeah, go ahead.
We also saw that one. What'd you think?
So I had read the book first, and like almost cried at like several points in the book, which I will admit I have cried at books. Kara, your book, I think I cried in like the second page. I mean, I was like, this is going to be a rough book. I'm like on the second page. But I am a big book fan. I'm old school. I like to hold a book and actually read it. And
same.
So when I went to the movie, I was really worried because I really enjoyed the book. So I was like, boy, I hope they do this right. And I know there's a few areas where they like sort of had to change because the movie was already like 2 hours long. But it was great. Like the way they did it was good. They made you fall in love with a rock, basically. Kudos to Ryan Gosling. I mean, that had to be challenging to you're acting with like a puppet, right? I mean,
moving on all on his own.
But I thought it was great. I really did. I thought it was good, and it was interesting because I went and saw it. We actually were invited to premiere and bring artifacts. So, we brought artifacts, and then we brought Jeannie Engel with us. So we had Joe's Joe's artifacts were specifically requested. So we're like, we have Joe's artifacts, and we have Joe's family here as well.
Ta-da!
And humans.
And it was really cool. It was very meaningful. And then it was really cool to sit there and watch it with Jeannie. And it was like, Jeannie, what is as a NASA veteran, and she enjoyed it. I mean, she thought it was good. It was a good movie. Yeah. How about you guys?
So I liked it. I have a lot of thoughts, so like I'm gonna try and organize. But like the imagery of the planet that they go to with like the green, it's like a cloud tank, cloud tank, which is gorgeous. There's this moment of like watching it and like it's beautiful, and they have the scene of what are the little red dot things called?
Oh yeah.
Where they start floating by him, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I know it's just special effects, but like you're like, this is what it's like to discover something, and it's gorgeous and wondrous. And because we saw it right after the Artemis mission, that you're just like, oh my gosh, this is what those astronauts were thinking when they were up around the moon, just being like, it's unbelievable. So like for me, I feel like that was captured really well. I think the story's pretty good. Adam Z, who's on our show frequently, he is also a giant space head. And I was chatting with him briefly, and he's like, I have a lot of notes. He's like, I read the book. And, like, I think the thing that struggles for me as watching it as a film is that because it's based on a book, all I could think the whole time, I was like, it felt like them trying to condense this whole book into it. Yeah. So, like, it kind of had a little of that feel for somebody who hasn't read the book yet.
Yeah. I did not have that feeling. No? I had not read the book.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest things that it did, for me, with the strongest, was the feeling of isolation for him.
Yeah, it was good too.
And developing a friendship with a puppet.
Yeah. Which
that I was very upset when you thought Rocky died.
Oh my God, I was crying in that movie. I was like, I know it's a fake thing, but this is very upsetting. And I saw somewhere online that when they were filming those scenes, for a couple of them, they had Gosling's daughters on set who were like 10, 11, and they would pop them on the mic to be Rocky. And so a lot of those reactions are his genuine like delight and surprise that his daughters are talking to him. So I was like, well done, filmmakers.
Not giving anything away, but the scenes where he moves in with him are hilarious, where he's recording his diary and he's just like, I need a little room, and he's like, "Look, he's right. Like that's how far away he is."
I can hear you.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
It's very sweet, and I do like it. I think I need to. It's one of those like we watched it and we didn't. We were busy, so we didn't really have time to sit and like analyze it together. So this is the first we were really like speaking about it with each other. So
and I mean, you think one drives the other, but a lot of time it's the other way around when the Artemis radio chatter is using lines from the movie by saying amaze, amaze, amaze.
It's art imitating life imitating art.
I mean, that mission, the Artemis mission was they had a recording from Jim Lovell everybody to talk about lead time for some of these missions that Jim Lovell had the wherewithal to go, I should record this because I don't have much longer and I know this mission's going to happen. It still had the exact same crew, so he's able to say them by name. I haven't watched all of their debriefs, but I that would be question one that I would have for that crew.
Yeah.
About hearing a ghost's name on the backside of the moon.
Hearing Jim Lovell say, "Welcome to my old neighborhood." I mean, that was wild.
Yeah. I mean, their minds were blown a lot for many reasons.
Yeah, the steely-eyed missile men factor, which they still all have, but I think it has the edges have been sanded a little bit on the astronauts that are able to give a perspective that everybody can sort of relate to. I know we're not talking about movies anymore.
Well, but, I mean, I think we are, but because to me, watching that at the same time as the astronauts are up in space and knowing that they had seen it before, coming out of that movie, I was like, because I think I saw something go by where like, I'm so happy they sent 4 poets into space.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that movie influenced, I mean, they're already these people, but like helped reiterate like the discovery and amazingness of space before they went up. So I think that really, to me.
That's not even part of it. Yeah. For me, it's the lion's share of it because people I know made comments online. Not a lot of people, but some made we have school systems that can get funded and this and that instead of burning a pile of cash on the coast of Florida launching this thing. What's the value? And the value is that when we landed on the moon in the 60s and 70s, that's when enrollment in colleges for STEM skyrocketed. It's the value. The value of it is to be able to inspire a civilization to
it's about
lead
humanity.
to greater things.
Yeah.
Yes, money should go to those other things as well. And I bet there's some other places that we can find it.
Yeah.
I remember a Neil deGrasse Tyson YouTube video that a friend of mine showed me years ago, but he took $1 and he said, if you take $1 and you lay it out and then you take some scissors and you cut into that $1 to show how far into our budget the NASA budget is, you would not be on the ink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at it that way, it's like, I think we're good. We can afford this. Not that we shouldn't afford the other things too, but
the housing, or not the housing bailout. No, the bailout.
The bank bailout. Yeah.
Back in 2008. That check that the government just sort of wrote is bigger than NASA's budget ever. From all of time that we have ever given to NASA, including Apollo and the shuttle and all of that. This check was bigger to bail out banks and companies in this country. So to say NASA has a giant waste of money.
Right. So anyways, back to the movie.
Yes, back to
I like the soundtrack.
I loved it. I did love it. It was a great movie. Not gonna lie, was shocked to see a little celebrity crush I have. The AT&T girl is in it. I'm just like,
right?
What is she doing in it?
She was almost too distracting.
Yeah. I didn't even wait. Which one is the AT&T girl?
She's a Russian or German.
She's a Russian.
She's the Russian gal that.
That's why she was familiar.
Yeah,
Okay, because I was like the whole time I'm like,
yeah. She's also a really talented stand-up comedian. But I did not know she was in it, so when I went to go see it, I was like,
she bangs on there. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like, yes, that is. My wife laughs because she's like, your girlfriend's on TV, it was a great movie. It was really positive messaging. Not giving anything away to somebody who hasn't seen it yet, but
I love the end of the movie.
Yeah, the ending's pretty great. It's
so
very. It starts delving into that Asimov and Contact type of musing about what ifs.
Yeah, and I mean, oh God, I want to talk about it, but I would ruin.
It's still in the theater, actually, which everybody, all the streaming people who love streaming are like, why won't it be on there? It's like, well, go to the theater then.
Because you should see it on a big screen.
Put your shoes on.
It is amazing. Yeah. Like, we did not see it in an IMAX, but we still saw it on a big screen.
No, it was too late for IMAX. Yeah. And I was not nervous, but I was curious that Lord and Miller were directing it.
Oh, yeah.
And okay, I know it wasn't their fault, but these guys got saddled with the blame of what happened to Solo, and can these guys make a movie that's not the Spider-Verse?
Right.
And I thought they did a bang-up job.
Yeah, there's something in there. Now that you said that, I'm like, maybe there's something in the movie that... And not that it's bad, but it bothered me. And I was like, and when you said they were the ones that directed it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But now I can't remember what it was.
There is something about, you touched on it though, Adam, about going to the movie theater. Go out to the theater. I will get political for just 1 second. Not real politics, just movie politics.
Yeah.
Top Gun Maverick absolutely got robbed at the awards because it got beat out for movie of the year by, do you know what movie?
No.
None of us do because nobody ever saw the movie that won.
Yeah.
So
I was like,
Oh, no,
Top Gun Maverick
agreed.
got people back to the movie theater.
yeah.
And the nonsense that wins. I mean, I can't even remember what this year, but the best picture 2 years ago was a movie no one on God's green earth had seen.
But it's because they put a bunch of money into the campaign, and you're like, even when they announced, like they said it was like nominated, and I was like, what the F is this movie?
It's like a $9 million budget for the movie, and they spent 14 on the Oscar campaign.
Yeah. Well, awards are bullshit anyway.
What bugs me about it is in history, honestly, again, Top Gun Maverick post-COVID got people back into the theater.
It helped save Hollywood.
Yeah.
It did, and it's never going to get the credit that it historically deserves because of that. That really bugs me. I'm not a movie politics person, so I don't know how that all works, but that really bugged me that I'm like, history's going to remember that this was movie of the year. Meanwhile, Top Gun Maverick came out, which deserved to be seen on the big screen. There was a movie when Red Tails came out. Me and my friends got together. We made a night of it. Us and our wives, we went out, we saw the movie, we had dinner. We saw the movie. We came home. I kid you not. We actually came home and watched Red Tails Reborn. Red Tail Reborn. And we were like, okay, that was that's not a joke. That is what we did. We had drinks at my buddy Darren's house and we watched Red Tail Reborn. And but it was still an evening. We went out. We had an evening of seeing history on the screen.
I gladly promote a mediocre film in the theater over an Oscar winner that you're watching on just a TV. We just underwent the Cleveland Film Festival here in town, and
we were at the theater a lot. We went 5 nights in a row.
And people talk about how I should, I'm cutting a short and I'm doing this and that because that's what you're supposed to do now. You have to cut it this fast, and you have to reiterate the plot line multiple times because Gen Z won't look up from their phone. And
I can't.
I said, well, most everybody is never going to watch a short on your phone because they're shorts. You're making them for film festivals, so make a proper story. You have the rare instance where you have a trapped audience that now is not distracted. They have to watch your pacing, and it's glorious like that. There's a reason why when they made Logan, R-rated movie, and Patrick Stewart's like, I'm absolutely in, and it's not because it was ultra violent or that it was cursing and all that. It's because they didn't have to cut it for 17-year-olds.
Yeah, they could actually make a film.
A Shakespearean actor could have his beats
and moments
in it, and I think the theater allows you to do that because nobody can get disrupted by phone calls and texting and everything else. I think it's a church for art.
Yeah, except for when we went to see Logan in the theater. People would not stop talking, and I love that my husband has a very deep voice and is not afraid. And he's just like, "Please be quiet," and everyone's quiet because you're like, I can't enjoy this movie while you're sitting there yammering.
Take it as it is a moment where we're all together. When you talk about a movie, it's like, oh, it was such a moment that I went and saw that in the theater,
it's an experience.
My daughter, we went to see a movie. She was very young. I mean, she was 10, and I think we went and saw like Moana or something like that, a kid's movie. And we're in Wisconsin, of course, so we come out from this matinee that we saw. We went and saw an early morning movie. So we get out at lunchtime, and it is just snowing like mad. And she's looking out there, and I'm like, "Do you want to go see another movie?" Yeah. And she still talks about this. She was like, "You can just do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm an adult, and nobody puts that in check. And so we had lunch at the movie theater because our movie theater is one of those ones that has burgers and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
And we sat there, we had lunch, and then we just went and saw another movie. And to this day, she's in college, and she still will tell me she'll still remember that day we went and saw 2 movies back to back.
I love
It
that.
meant that much to her that
Yeah.
11 years later she still remembers that moment as like something really special that we
Yeah.
did, you know.
Because in her brain, the first 10 years of her life, there was, this is how you do this in a certain way. Like, whoa, there's no rules? Hang on.
You can just watch movies all day.
We went and saw Pearl Harbor in the movie theater, and I was dating a girl, saw the movie, and she choked up. She started crying at the Doolittle takeoff scene. And I'm like, oh, this is it. And I married her. That's the true story. When I was like, she gets the Doolittle raid thing. Yeah. Like, yep. Like this is an okay
Deal.
person. So
that was the most accurate
part of the movie.
Actually, well, aside from Jimmy Doolittle was nowhere near as tall as a Baldwin.
I didn't look anything like
a Jimmy Doolittle looked like a fire plug on the screen.
Oh yeah. But it was a good. Well, and that's another one where the movie is like, okay, there's issues with the movie. There's a lot of good with the movie. Yeah. But there were a lot of friends of mine who I was still living in Pittsburgh at the time, so a lot of my high school buddies were still around. And I remember them saying, went and saw the movie because it was like the blockbuster movie to go see. But they were like, hey, at the end, that Doolittle thing, was that real? Mm. And then I'm like, yes, it was. Now here is 30 Seconds Over Tokyo. Go read that and or go watch the movie. But they're movies like this have the ability to do so much good where you can, you get a little nugget. And it's like, okay, you had this great experience. You saw this. You're hyped up about it. You want to read more about it? Let us help you read more about it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. Now,
one
of my guilty pleasure movies, unfortunately, is not that. And one of my guilty pleasure movies is Armageddon.
I knew you were going to say Armageddon.
It was on TV recently, and I was like, I'm going to rewatch this. And I was like,
every single frame that has spacecraft in it is wrong.
Yeah, it is all like the entire movie is just.
Steve Buscemi is my favorite part of that whole movie.
Yeah, oh yeah. My daughter picked out one thing, and I never even thought about it. Like, this is just how I'm like, yep, I'm taking this at face value. Yeah. And my daughter was like, hey, the world was gonna end, right? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like right up until the end,
until thrilling heroics,
until the asteroid
saved it.
Splits apart.
Now let's do this half-hour shuttle ride back to Earth. And I'm like, yeah. And she goes, they land, and then the Thunderbirds fly over. She goes, so the Thunderbirds in their last minutes on Earth weren't spending that with their families.
No.
The Thunderbirds were on standby to fly over the shuttle in case something happened. And I'm like,
that's duty, honey.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
That's awesome. Like, just don't think. Yeah.
That's
Armageddon.
A line I saw was an interview with the one that is married to Bruce Willis's daughter, or engaged to Bruce Willis.
Oh, but Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Yes, thank you. It was an interview with him when they were getting ready to make the movie, and he was like, wait a minute, wouldn't it make more sense if you just trained NASA astronauts to like drill? And they were like, they just told me to shut up. They were like, you want to make the movie? Or
not they. Michael Bay said that. And
Michael Bay
used profanity.
Yeah. Armageddon was one of my sick movies in college because I had that VHS, so I would just throw it in. Be like, I don't feel good. Put Armageddon on.
It's a good movie. Like, it's a good popcorn. I don't take any of this for real.
Yeah.
My flu movie is Battleship.
You watched it once.
Yes.
No, that
really?
you know of.
Okay.
When they get the old Missouri back out.
When they get the Missouri back out, I love that section.
Yep.
It's really stupid. How is Rihanna the helmsman of this thing? But
yeah,
Rihanna could be a helmsman.
Not in this movie.
Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But yeah,
absolutely.
There's a lot of interesting things that happen, and it's like, yeah. And then in the museum sense, I'm sitting there watching it, and they like dump over the museum store. I'm like, hey, like that supports the museum.
Yeah, that's a significant portion of their income.
Yeah, like what was that? Exactly. I'm sitting there looking at it like wow, like they're gonna have to put that all back, like But yeah, it is. We all have those guilty pleasure movies. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Armageddon is that. It's just I watched Days of Thunder too. Like Days of Thunder is a.
It's been a while since seen that.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that.
In watching, I watched F1 on an airplane, which I know is like very stupid of me to do because it's supposed to be giant and IMAX and all that. But I watched it, and like I did not have sort of the awe-inspiring experience that I did watching Days of Thunder. I thought Tony Scott made a better movie. I mean, the characters are kind of ridiculous. But it's got wonderful tone to it that I don't think F1 did. I thought F1 was too clean on how they were.
The scenes where they're building the race car, I think anybody that restores airplanes, that builds old cars, can appreciate that scene where Robert Duvall's talking to the car as he's building it, and they're showing you how they build a race car. We've all done it. I mean, we've talked to it, our objects, but it's just such a cool moment when you're watching that movie. And then it ends with the car sitting at pit row, and then there's a lot of NASCAR history that I never realized. I have a friend of mine on staff here, Connor Madison, who's like a historian of racing, who brought out like, oh yeah, there's a lot of real, like the characters are based on real people and events. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah. And like the Rowdy Burns, the guy that kind of ends up becoming friends with Tom Cruise's character. He goes, if you look closely at that, that's Dale Earnhardt. And he goes, and look at the color scheme on his car. It's Dale Earnhardt's car just brought up higher. And, and you're like, oh yeah, that's interesting. So there's a lot of neat history with it that I never realized.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our show, we usually do 3 movies. Our third space movie was...
You'll never guess that we included this as a space movie.
When we were texting, I'm like, we picked a weird one. Or a funny one. Superman 2.
Superman 2. Oh, interesting.
Did you bring it up?
Huh.
To do that?
No, I think you were like...
I think we started talking about it because we went and saw...
well, it's from Project Hail Mary. When
he's got the
thing
pane of glass, he's like, I'm trapped in the Phantom Zone.
And Adam's like, we should...
That's a space movie. So then we pulled it out because she had... Have you seen Superman 2 up until that point?
I mean, when I was a kid.
But, she didn't remember. I'm like, there is a rough scene at the beginning of this movie when General Zod and they show up on the moon and they murder the astronauts right away.
And you're like, oh my God,
like
this is
in
very
scene
upsetting.
3 of the whole movie.
It's rough.
Yeah. I remember seeing that as a kid, and when not as much like the first 2 that they kill, but like and which is also called Artemis.
It's Artemis 2.
Yeah, there's
this is Artemis 2, and I was
their
like...
Their spacecraft's called Artemis 2. And when Artemis 2's trying to lift off and they're crushing it with the astronaut inside, I got really upset in the theater watching that. Yeah. It was really sad.
Yeah, or when he like yanks the hose out of him and launches him into space.
The Russian guy.
And you're like, this is upsetting.
Yeah, Man, I forgot about that. I hadn't seen Superman 2 in a while.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back and rewatch it because of what we're talking about, but man, I do remember that. I remember that as a kid. Like,
you can watch it. It's the third scene, so you can get to it kind of quick. Yeah. And then you fast forward through, the whole Lois Lane goes to the Fortress of Solitude part.
Yeah.
What's left?
Because you're sitting there waiting for the whole movie, like, just get your powers back and go have the fight in Metropolis. That's all anybody's waiting to watch.
You beat people up. Let's go. We
did not finish.
No, we didn't finish.
I think we got tired.
We got past it. Yeah, we got past the Artemis scene.
Adam's like, that's it for space, so we'll just turn it off.
That fulfills it. It's not like a callback later in the film.
I was going to ask, where would, and I don't want to give anything away, where would, as far as, well, I'm sorry, were you going to name another space movie?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. Go for it. Because I don't want to talk about it if it is one of them.
I don't know what either of you are doing.
No. So like originally when we were chatting about doing this, Chris was like, hey, can I have, someone else be on the show? And I was like, sure. And he was like, she went to space camp. And I'm like, the movie Space Camp.
And she was going to be joining us, and she's actually out sick. That's why it's just me right now. So Hope, our museum curator, was a Space Camp Academy kid. So Space Camp, is that your third movie?
It was going to be my pick, and I couldn't find it anywhere to watch.
Really?
It's not.
I don't think it is anywhere.
I think you have to pay to rent it. And I was like, it's not that great, so I didn't want to pay for it. And the library has it, but they have like one copy, and it was not going to be back in. So
It's like Tate Danovan's in it, right?
yeah, and
Is Leah Thompson in that one?
Yes. Yeah. And Joaquin Phoenix before he was
really
Joaquin Phoenix. I can't remember his last name. He's a little boy.
Okay.
Who
it's been a
talks to the
years.
robot, and they actually accidentally get launched into space.
Oh, right. His name's
shuttle.
Max, and the robot keeps going, Max, send Max to space. And
so the robot launches them into space.
He launches the solid rocket boosters, which they can't shut off.
I remember watching it a lot as a kid and liking it. I watched it as a grown-up, and I'm like, oh boy, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So that's why I was
I had an
want to
experience with that recently because I was trying. I'm becoming the old guy at work, and I'm not ready for that. And my curator, who is one of the best curators I've ever worked with, she's 26, and our intern is 21.
Oh my God.
And I'm 46. Yeah. So I'm like, you cats want to see something cool? Here's Airwolf. And I'm just like, and it must have, like, they were just kind of like, okay, let's get you back to bed. Like, because I'm just like, it was a futuristic helicopter. Like,
again, you have no idea how much cocaine was involved in this movie.
Like I was, and then they were just like, this is really bad. I'm like,
no.
Okay. I'm like, well.
No, it's the helicopter version of Knight Rider. Come on.
Well, then, so I told them that, and they were just like, "What's Knight Rider?" So I'm like, "Okay, hold on."
Sit down.
So I watched Knight Rider, and the quote that come out of that was his superpower was he has an indestructible Trans Am, and I'm like, "Yeah, like what aren't you guys getting about this?" You know, like
I don't understand your question.
Yeah, so it just like totally like we ended up. I'm like I've given them assignments where they have to watch like Magnum PI now and stuff. I'm like, you guys like culture yourself.
I need you to understand what I'm talking about.
But we have to go back. Like we have to watch Smokey and the Bandit before you see Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got a Smokey and the Bandit story. Yeah. It is not a proud moment, but my daughter was a kid, and she didn't always like to take no for an answer, so she would try to like kind of rebuttal, you know, if you told her something. So I had just turned on Smokey and the Bandit. It was like on TV, and she was like, "I have to do a school report," or she's like, "Can we watch something else?" And I was just like, "Well, no, I want to watch Smokey and the Bandit." And she's like, "Well, I have to do a school report on a documentary." And I'm like, whatever. Like she just met, you know, this sounds like an Elizabeth tale, right? So I was like, this is a documentary. And she was like, oh, okay. It turns out she actually did have to do a report on a documentary, and she did it on Smokey and the Bandit as a documentary. So she goes to school, and all the kids were like, we watched this about the bees or whatever. And she's like, this man had a car and he was with a truck, and they had to take beer from like Texarkana to like Atlanta, Georgia. And I got a note home from the teacher. And
of course you did.
Karen. Now, keep in mind, my wife, Karen, she's a nurse, so she works a lot. And she was at work when this happened. And she's kind of like upset with Elizabeth. And I come downstairs. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she was like, look at this note. Like,
go right back upstairs.
Like, we think your child watched Smokey and the Bandit and did a report on it as a documentary. And I'm like, this is actually my fault.
I got this. This is me.
And Elizabeth was like, I did. I watched a documentary, and you know, and I'm like, yeah, this was on me. So I'd like call the teacher. Like, I didn't think she was being honest, and I told her this was a documentary. So.
That's amazing.
In all fairness, I'm sure that had happened somewhere in the South.
I mean, this feels like a real tale.
Yeah,
it seems
There's
like
a beer run that had to happen.
Wow.
I wish I
want to read a report
note and framed it though, where it was like your child was supposed to do a report on the documentary, and it seems that like the teacher didn't just call it out. The teacher was like, it seems like she watched Smokey and the Bandit.
It seems.
Thank you for knowing what she was talking about.
I give you points.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Was this an accurate report?
So was the report good?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be my first question. So she get an A or no?
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I called her, they actually did give her a good grade because they were like, well, okay, we understand how that happened. So. But yeah, I really should have saved that and framed it. So I did. This is totally off the rails, but that's okay. For Christmas one year, Elizabeth had gone to school, and they said, draw what you want for Christmas. And Elizabeth came home with this drawing of the Earth. And I'm like, what is that? You're supposed to draw what you want for Christmas. And then she had written world peace under it. And I'm like, that's sweet. I was like, we'll just get you that instead of toys. And she's like, oh no. And she grabbed it back and she crossed out world peace and then just wrote toy real big on it. And I did. I have that framed. That is a Christmas decoration that I put up in our house every year.
How old was she? 22.
Yeah, exactly. That was like 6 months ago. Yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can't mess with your kids, you're not being a good dad.
Yeah.
And then he said,
Then, I'm sure she could write a book.
Oh God, I'm not ready for that. Yeah.
I'm not ready for that, but it'll be a bestseller.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you watch other space movies this week?
I have been watching For All Mankind. And I don't want to give anything away, but there was a really awesome closing of an episode that they just recently did. I'll leave it at that. But if there's any fans watching that, they'll know, and if they're caught up, they'll know. I don't want to give anything away because it was just like last week's episode, involving Ed Baldwin, which is one of the characters on there. And then, I mean, I did watch Airplane 2, so I don't know if that necessarily counts.
count it.
Qualifies.
But it is a space movie.
It's a space movie, for sure.
But it was
Did they
on
go
and I
to
couldn't
space?
help it. I was like, I'm going to watch this. It just,
Shatner owns that movie.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when William Shatner's like, it's all these beeping and all these noises, and he just like freaks out.
He freaks out and goes, I'm okay.
Let's just
I'm
shut
okay.
it all down.
I'm okay. Yeah, shut it down.
I love when he's like, what do these lights do? And they're like, well, these blink here, and these blink. That's my favorite part.
But you see those lights in like 14 other movies. With the tubes that go back and forth.
Oh, I think it's hilarious.
They got those out. I think they had them on Battlestar Galactica back in the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which also had the scanner from Knight Rider on it. That was the kit scanner and the noise.
Oh, yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Airplane 2 is fantastic. I mean,
yeah, just sitting here, I was like, there's so many. I mean,
the sun. What is it?
yeah.
It's a big ball of fire at the center of our solar system.
I just love that they brought back like the jive guys like in the courtroom that are just like smacking the Bible, and they're supposed to. I mean, like it's all like you could not make that movie today, but it was all of it was just.
And then those guys wrote all of their jive themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Because the script just says, and they speak jive.
That's so. We had Robert Hayes, who is an EA member. We actually did an interview with him, a Time Is Always interview.
That's awesome.
He was absolutely hilarious. And he was talking about, I never understood like how some of those characters got into the movie. Like, how did you get like Mrs. Cleaver?
Right.
And it was all because they had cameos that they had to fulfill their contracts.
Wow,
And
really?
so I guess he said that when they signed on to do cameos, you would sign on to do 3. And the movie studio had like this drawer full of people who needed to do one more cameo and they can like be done. So they just grab them and they're like, here's these people you have to have in this movie.
That makes it so much better.
Like that's how like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is in it and stuff like that.
It was a
they had
grab
like one more
bag of
cameo he had
cameos.
to do. And they were like, okay, like would you do this? And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want. Like, I'm just using this money to put new rugs in my house. So, like, whatever.
He
like,
did buy a rug with it.
And, Ward Cleaver, they're like, will you speak jive? And she's like, sure, like, I'll do that. And but it's, absolutely hilarious. Yeah, love Airplane 2, though, too. Airplane 1 is amazing, but the second one is a space movie.
Absolutely space movie. If Superman 2 can be a space movie, that one can.
Yeah. And I also got, thanks to my friend Dan, who's a coworker of ours, he's one of our senior leaders. I have a tire cover for my Jeep that just says Spaceballs the Jeep. So we got to mention Spaceballs. That's the other one.
It keeps getting promo that it's coming next.
Yeah.
The Spaceballs 2 is coming.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
This year? In November, or is it next year?
No, it's next year.
It's 27. Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I think, unless I'm out of
No,
my
I think
mind.
you're right. That is a long lead time.
We had a safe we were trying to open here, and the combination was 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
My younger coworkers who had never seen Spaceballs, this was such a wasted moment because I looked at them and I'm like, Jesus, I got to go home and change the combination on my luggage.
They just stare at you.
So they're just like, oh, really? And I'm like,
no!
Oh, God, this is a Spaceballs joke.
That is my favorite thing about the younger generation. We'll do that stuff and they're just like, okay. And you're like,
okay, like
it's from a movie.
The two of us have no idea. We're right in the middle because my parents have no idea. My dad's 90 and they don't have any idea what we're talking about ever. No. And now all the younger generation doesn't know what we're talking about ever.
Yeah, I had a very proud moment because there are mobile like ramps that we use around the grounds to load trucks and stuff like that. And Hope, I run around a corner, and Hope is like, this ramp is like right there, and she's like, "Are we just gonna like Dukes of Hazzard off of that?" I'm like, "Thank God!" Like you've been hanging. And immediately she's like, "Oh God, I've been hanging out with you too long." Like I just made that reference. And I'm like, "Have you ever even seen that show?" And she's like, "No." Like, but I know of it. And
well, you know something.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, very proud moment.
Yeah,
we'll watch stuff all the time. We'll throw something on, and she's like, "Jesus, that's where you got that."
So one of my favorite moments from Apollo, I'm going to tie it back from Apollo 13 is he's like, "What on the spacecraft is good?" And I'm like, it's such a great moment. And I like let it sink in. And then I turned to him and I'm like, you say that all the time. And I didn't realize that's what was from this.
I usually say it in reference to a movie set.
Yeah. When things are going very poorly.
I also love that the guy doesn't have an actual. He's like, "I'll get back to you." It's just like,
I'll get back to you, Gene.
God, there's so many good movies in Apollo 13 where it's like that interaction. And you're like, ugh.
You know, I'll tell you a real moment that I didn't realize. I didn't make the connection right away that, but there is an artifact in our museum that it doesn't have to do with Apollo 13, but slightly. The scene in the movie where they have to stand across the road from one another.
Oh yeah,
right
before the launch, and Marilyn had said she wasn't coming, and then she just shows up. Right in our exhibit, and it's one of the things I really love about the collection we got from Frank is it's so personal. It's Susan's picture that she took the night before the launch of Apollo 8 of the crew from across the road.
Aww.
And it's night, the rocket's lit up, and they're standing there together, and it's the crew across the road from them, and it was Susan's snapshot that's in our exhibit.
That's really sweet.
Love that.
Yeah, and it's like I'm so glad that there is Susan's voice is in the exhibit,
And I think too, like this is something that, like, I mean, again, giant nerds and museum nerds, but like I feel like that's lost, that like you can just walk by and be like, oh, it's a picture of them standing there with a rocket, but you have no idea the context of what
those have to shape some of this stuff when you're walking around.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And it's the same as Jeannie is very timid about her part of the exhibit, that she's kind of like, yeah, they did this, I don't know if I always tell them to take it out and put more Joe stuff in or whatever. But we've had so many people come to us and say, thank you for having this here, because it shows that there are more careers at NASA than just being an astronaut.
Right.
Yeah. And it frames it. Like,
it's perfect.
Yeah. And Jeannie was a single mom working at NASA, and there were challenges there, and to NASA's credit, they made it work, which in the 80s, like not a lot of places would. I mean, that was forward thinking for them to say, hey, we'll figure this out. We'll set up a little TV and your daughter can watch Disney movies and stuff, which is why we have Disney movies in there. So it's really funny. I don't know if Katie will ever see this, but Katie will actually even, like, she has messaged me before, like, sure would like to watch my Parent Trap, but I can't because it's in the exhibit because my mom gave my Parent Trap copy away, so.
Thanks, Mom.
I was using that still.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you can probably watch Parent Trap on stream.
Yeah, you can find that somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so.
I always had a fondness for Parent Trap growing up because when they do their bit where they set up the restaurant to make their parents fall in love again, Martinelli's.
Oh, no kidding. I have to go back and watch that. That's hilarious.
As kids, we were like, what? That's
like,
our
oh, that's my restaurant. Yeah. That's so
Sorry,
fun.
I've just had that
never
memory. I'm like,
noticed
the restaurant is Martinelli's.
I'll have to watch that again. Yeah, I love it. That's cool stuff. It's just amazing to get to help be the caretaker and the storyteller of the stuff we have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It is. And then, to have the movies back it up. Like, hey, are you, we do it the opposite way. So for us, we'll bring the kids in, we'll show them stuff, and then we'll say, if you want to learn more about what you're looking at, go watch Apollo 13.
Yeah.
Go, from the Earth to the Moon's a little bit deeper of a dive for a lot of the kids. But if we can get them to Apollo 13, that's pretty good, And, one of the things that, and it never, there's so many movie scenes in my head where I'm like, I wish they would have filmed this, but I wish there was a movie about Apollo 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
Frank was told there was a 1 in 3 chance that he was going to come home.
Yeah.
And you still went and got in that rocket.
Yeah.
First time we're going to fly to Saturn V with a crew on it. The night before the launch, I shouldn't say the night, it may have been a day or two before the launch, they move out to that beach house. And Charles Lindbergh comes to the beach house to hang with the crew of Apollo 8. And they do the calculations and discover that during liftoff, the Saturn V will use the entire amount of fuel that the Spirit of St. Louis had on board every 10 seconds. And they were just like, oh yeah, that's a lot of fuel.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of gas.
Could you imagine that scene even being depicted of Charles Lindbergh talking with the crew of Apollo 8?
Right. Putting it in freight or reference for everybody.
Yeah. Who's at the door? Oh.
yeah, exactly. So
we're in quarantine.
I really do.
Yeah. Wait, what? Is it the beach house for quarantine?
Would love to see. Is it proper like Apollo 8 movie done? I'll let me make my dream list. Would be a proper Apollo 8 movie.
Yeah.
I would love to see a mini series about the Doolittle raid. I think that would be absolutely incredible.
Yes, crafted in my head. Yes.
Yeah. Then I would love to see like a full length feature film with movie stars and stuff about the Wasp. I think that would be, having I literally just got back from Avenger Field last night. And
how was it?
After being there, I've never been to a place quite like that where the history is actually like you could feel it, like it is.
It's in the
that
air.
was so wild.
It's so weird.
It hasn't been glazed over, or condos haven't been put there or anything.
And I remember the first time I was there, I just cried. I was like, I have to step away because it's in the air or something. I don't know. But
they keep, you hear a stirring every once in a while of somebody trying to get a movie or a miniseries going together. I think.
I know.
What's her name that was in Bridget Jones's Diary?
Renee
Zellweger was the last that's trying to get it going. Yeah. But it was going, and then COVID happened, so a lot of projects got stalled out. So I don't know where they're at with it.
And it's what I would love to see is not necessarily that it has to be just about them, but the women as when they're maybe set in the 60s or 70s where it's like no one knows what they did. I think that would be a strong character. It doesn't even have to be specifically about that, but I want to see something with
they're kind of forced to be flight attendants, which is what a lot of them kind of did to stay around aviation.
Yeah.
One of the things I thought was a miss, and I love Masters of the Air, so I don't want to and I love the Tuskegee Airmen. But there was basically a whole section of Tuskegee Airmen in that the Tuskegee Airmen was part of the 15th Air Force, so they weren't part of the 8th.
Yeah.
You could have still told their POW story that mixed in with the 100th Bomb Group guys.
Yeah.
And you didn't need a whole episode to do it. And what they could have done is taken that time and given it to John Egan's wife, who was a WASP.
Yeah.
And talk about, and she's a local WASP. She's from right around here.
Yeah.
And then tell the story. And at least you would have Tuskegee and WASP represented in a very natural way.
Yeah. Not like
and I thought that would have been a really cool way of getting the WASP some screen time, But
the series felt one episode shy.
Yeah.
And one of my biggest issues with it is the the lead up to it that you just sort of are slammed into them, and we are way too knowledgeable to know. We know what's going on. So when they say things, and you're like, we're landing in Greenland and it has a crosswind of this and that. And we're like, oh shit, that's a lot. But the regular audience doesn't. And Band of Brothers did such an extraordinary job of slamming 19-year-olds into Toccoa. And watching them, it's like, my God, now you're talking about 19-year-olds being handed the most advanced machines ever created on Earth. And we don't get to see that.
Yeah.
We get to see Elvis, whatever his name is.
Austin Butler.
That he's already mythic.
Right.
At that
and you're
point.
like, it kind of takes away from like
how hard this is.
Yeah, and like how incredible it was that they did it.
You know, flying in the T6s and stuff like that, and you know, an episode on training would have been really cool.
I think that's what it was.
Most
missing,
series take one or two to find their footing anyway, and so does this one. And it finally starts cooking when you go on Rosie's mission. But before that, it's kind of meandering around. And I know they have to introduce anybody, but I think that was a missed opportunity to show the training part.
Yeah, but I do love that. I can't remember her name. But the character they introduce, and she, like, as she's going, I'm like, oh, she's SOE.
Oh, right.
Immediately, like, the second she, like, said something, and then, like, they reveal it later on. And I was like, oh.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah, I was super excited.
I thought that was pretty awesome that they had that. They represented a lot of cool stuff. Like I said, I love it. It did we saw a big interest in the B-17 after that was out, and when it was out. You know, so never knock to anything that's trying to bring out some history. I just looked at it as like, man, we could have got the Wasp in there a little bit, and in a very natural way, you know, where they could have been at a base in training when they get their 17, and a Wasp brings it up. You know, there were 13 Wasps trained to fly it. How cool would it have been to see Don Seymour depicted in that as, you know, delivering a B-17. So
there's so many good, like. You have a great story of your uncle.
My uncle was a mechanic during the war. And when he always talks about the Wasp being the best pilots he's ever seen. He was in Florida, I think, when they were delivering him cross country, and he was taking ownership of it to send it over. He willfully admits how great the Wasp pilots were.
Even that, like, they're great. I mean, they're real people, but like they're great characters that you can throw into these stories that you never get to see it happen. I mean, older movies like the movies from the 40s, they'll depict them a little bit, but it's not.
They'll taste it in there a little bit, but it's.
I would love to see them get the, League of Their Own treatment. You know,
exactly.
Something like that.
That's an easy pitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, would be something, and like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, Tom Hanks knows about him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like maybe there's hope that.
Yeah, somebody will.
You know, because like, wow, what a neat group of women. Film it right out at Sweetwater.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff is there. Build the sets and then leave the sets, and the museum gets the sets. It's a great. See, I'm thinking from the museum standpoint for the museum. You're welcome.
They still have our. I'm looking at a picture of it. We recreated the Avenger field sign, and we left it there with them. Like where they walk underneath.
One I saw it. I just saw it. The one that says like the Enterprises.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in the door. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, that's from our movie.
Our people.
That's our prop from our movie that we left there. Yeah.
Awesome. We have one in our museum that I think we copied yours. So.
We'll tell our production designer Lena about that.
Yeah. Oh boy, she was like at the end. So like filming at Sweetwater, the women having women pretend to be Wasps. Some of them are extras, were granddaughters of the Wasp or pilots, and having a woman fly the T6 over. For our shot we were doing, she's
flying a Wasp T6.
Yes.
Yeah. Was that Laura? Was that Laura that was
flying
Laura,
yeah.
guys? Yeah. Laura's awesome.
She about took the paint off our camera as she flew over.
Oh yeah, there's wobble in the crane because
the crane's wobbling because she's so low.
Whatever, it's a great shot.
It is. I love. I mean, and your film was absolutely amazing about it. It is. It's I just, man, we got to get more attention, because Sweetwater's out there. I mean, it's 4 hours
It's far.
from any major airport, really.
It is a
However, you know
destination.
what? Just a month ago, I drove to the middle of Iowa to go see a baseball diamond carved into a cornfield, and broke down crying thinking of my dad, who gave to me this love of sports history. And I'm like, man, you could feel like my dad around there. I'm like, he's never been there. I have no reason to feel this way about this baseball diamond in a cornfield. But yet there you are. There's these emotions. And at Avenger, I was not prepared for that. I mean, I had been to Gettysburg and things like that. And when we got there, I'm like, holy cow. I mean, it like hits you. The only other place I ever experienced that with aviation was Edwards Air Force Base. When you get out there, you're like, oh man, yeah, stuff has happened here. I don't know what it is. You just get this feeling of like, yeah, you could see the Bell X-1.
Yeah. I feel like Avenger Field is like the ghosts blow past you, essentially. Like you absorb that when you show up. And I mean, this is me I'm in a weird space right now because my dad also passed away recently, but like...
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to tell everybody on the show. But like, I'm not a religious person, but like, I do feel spiritual about things. And a lot of the women when they've passed away, they have their ashes spread there. So I've been there for the ceremonies in the past. And I was like, because they're in the dirt.
Yeah, they're in the literal moral fabric of that place.
And it's
we watched that. They spread two wasp ashes while we were there, and then on top of it, you're there. Like we went there with Olga Custodio, who is our country's first Latina Air Force pilot. We're there with Betty Sharon Pressler, who was one of this country's first female fighter pilots ever. She's literally one of the 3 women in the news conference when they're announcing that they've lifted combat exclusion. And you're sitting there with these people that had these amazing careers. They're heroes of yours. And then you realize that you're looking at them, look at heroes of theirs. You're like, wow, this place is wild. I mean,
it is incredible to go.
It is really... And if anybody's listening that's never been, it is aviation's field of dreams, in my opinion. I mean, that you need to make that journey out there to see it. You will not.
I'd agree with that.
Regret it. Go support the museum. They're a wonderful museum.
Oh, they have a great gift shop.
I dropped some coin in the gift shop. So
they've gotten my money.
Definitely an amazing experience. I know this has nothing to do with spaceflight, but
no, but I mean, mine really movies because we made a movie about it.
We did make a movie.
Yeah.
So we're gonna tie it in for Movie Club. It's my show. I do what I want.
I love it.
We do trivia. So we have categories.
I think we should just do sci-fi.
All right, since it's space.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay, so
I'm gonna need it.
Pulling one out here, and we'll just do one card. There are 5 questions.
All right.
What is the valuable natural resource called in Black Panther?
No, not adamantium. Is that right?
That is Wolverine.
I only saw it once, that movie. So.
I mean, it's what Captain America's shield's made of.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Well, I know this.
I should be able to call Hal and ask Hal. Like,
dude, why am I blanking
screaming
on
at
this?
the monitor.
No, if he's watching this.
Like, oh my god. No, wait, no. I know it. I don't know. I couldn't think of...
Chris, are you checking your phone?
I was texting Hal. I'm cheating like Hal.
Hal?
I give up. I do not know.
Do you know it?
Vibranium.
Damn it. See, I knew it.
What is the large imaginary rabbit called in Donnie Darko?
I just listened to a podcast about Donnie Darko today. Frank.
I don't even know that.
I don't know.
You're right.
I used to watch that movie a lot.
I'd have to think hard
but
about
I literally just listened to a podcast about making Donnie Darko today.
Who directed the movie Iron Man 3?
Favreau?
No, it wasn't Favreau.
Oh, he did 1 and 2.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. These are all, for sci-fi, why are there so many Marvel questions?
Yeah.
Second Marvel question.
Shane Black. Nobody knows
no.
that. In which movie,
Who's
including
that?
Shane Black? Which movie did
Sorry, Shane
Clive
Black.
Owen? Which movie did Clive Owen play the role of an activist who helps a miraculously pregnant woman travel to the coast?
Children of Men.
That is correct. Children of
Wow.
Men. Yeah.
We were just talking about that movie.
Oh boy.
Sorry.
Sort of space. Which singer starred as an alien in The Man Who Fell to Earth in 1976?
I'll take a stab in the dark. Barbara Streisand.
No, but that'd be a whale of a movie.
A
Think-
singer from the 70s.
Think space and 76.
I just think of Barbarella. Which is not what we're talking about.
No, but
I'm
we should
throwing it
watch
out there and saying Cher.
That's pretty good. It's Bowie.
Oh, I don't know why I was leaning female.
That makes a lot of
but-
sense.
That is-
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I know the man who fell to Earth.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Sorry, internet. I should have known that.
should have known that one.
I was not thinking.
Very good.
Ugh. All right. Well, that was our show for space.
For space
theme.
movies. We talked about it about 40% of the time, which is perfectly fine.
I mean, whatever. It's I make the rules. And thank you, Chris, for being on the show. And yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Good to talk with you all.
Yeah, it's been
It's been too long.
very fun.
Yeah.
I always love to hear from a fellow storyteller, so it's great.
Appreciate it. Can't wait to see you guys at Oshkosh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drink out of my capsule mug.
Yeah. Oh, and the moon. I have the moon.
Awesome. I've been drinking Alani, so it's not as exciting, but cheers, guys.